Hello and welcome to another video. Look what I am wearing. It is finished. I've been working on this for a long time, so we'll talk about this in a minute. I only just finished it, so I'll tell you all about that in a minute. I'm also going to show a new cast on I cast on last week. I have a new design for the knit magazine and just let you know what's going to happen in the next few weeks. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through our website YarnAddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. So I have finished this sweater, which has been on the, I was going to say needles, been on the hook, this is crochet, since we went to Portugal end of the first week in October, I think. Can't remember. I basically started this before we went to Portugal. I started at the back, it's top down. I can't remember how much I did, maybe like that much, maybe like half the top. The top is basically work from like here all the way to here. So it's about halfway between my elbow and my wrist, to both sides. So I got probably half of the top done, maybe a third, I can't remember. Quarter. Anyway, I made some progress on the top. And then on the day we left for Portugal, we were driving to Bristol Airport, which is about 2.5 hours from here if the traffic's okay. And Simon was driving, so I took my crochet bag in the front with me, put it on the floor because it was dark when we left. Plus, I don't tend to knit or crochet in the car till we get to Plymouth, which is about 20 minutes, depending on traffic, because the road between here and Plymouth is a bit windy in places, and I do get a little bit car sick if it's too windy. So I normally wait till I get to Plymouth, and then we're on the dual carriageway, and then I start knitting or crocheting, and then we eventually get on the M5 and keep going north. Anyway, it was dark. I can't remember what time we left. We left really early in the morning because we had a mid-morning, late morning flight, I can't remember. So we left quite early, so it was dark, so I didn't pick up my crochet, and then I think eventually I fell asleep, and then I possibly drove a bit as well, I can't remember. But anyway, the crochet bag was on the floor next to me. When we got to the airport, we parked somewhere different than normal. Normally we book an off-airport parking thing. We parked at the airport and jumped out of the car, grabbed my handbag. Usually use like a small crossbody bag when I travel. Got my suitcase and backpack out of the back. We booked a car in, got on the bus, got into the airport, went straight through security and went to the pub to wait for our daughters to arrive and then have breakfast. And as we were sitting there, I went, my crochet, I left my crochet in the car, and I was like, I can't believe this. I've left my crochet in the car and I haven't taken a spare project, because we're traveling with hand luggage only, and Simon and I were sharing a carry-on suitcase and taking a backpack each. So my clothes went in my half of the suitcase and everything else had to go in my backpack. So I thought I'd left my crochet behind. Well, I knew I'd left it in the car. Now, I kind of panicked for a while, posted a thing on social media, panicked for a while, and then as we were sitting there, I thought, oh, hang on, I did bring spare yarn with me because obviously whatever I'd taken and packed the main yarn that I needed. The only stuff that was in my crochet bag was the stuff I was actually crocheting with. So the ball of yarn, the 2 balls of yarn I was crocheting with. Everything else was in my backpack. And I had also, because the problem with crochet hooks, because they're not attached to your project, they're really easy to lose. So I had actually taken a spare crochet hook with me. It was one that I didn't particularly like working with, but I brought it. So I opened my backpack, got some spare yarn, got the crochet hook that I packed. In the meantime, I had been looking up yarn shops near our Airbnb. I knew there was one yarn shop in Lisbon that I wanted to visit, but I also knew it wasn't that close to our Airbnb. And I did find a yarn shop like 10 minutes, 15 minutes walk from the Airbnb. So I was like, okay, I said to Simon, first thing tomorrow morning after breakfast, I'm going to the yarn shop. And then I'll meet you guys at the bus stop and we'll catch a bus into Lisbon city centre afterwards, but I've got to go to the yarn shop first. Anyway, I then remembered I did have a lot of extra spare yarn. I can't remember how many balls of each colour I brought, but I brought plenty. Probably brought twice as much as I needed. So, and I brought a spare hook. So I immediately started again. The only problem was I printed out the pattern or part of the pattern. I didn't have that. So, but I had it, I could access it on my phone. So that was okay. So I started again and I crocheted at the airport and on the flight. I don't always knit or crochet on the flight, but I did this time because I was annoyed that I'd lost all these, how many centimeters I'd done. So I wanted to catch up. So I did crochet on the plane, and by the time we got to our Airbnb, I probably wasn't that far off where I had been, or at least halfway to where I had been. So disaster was averted. Anyway, I really like this. Now it does make the neckline look a little bit funny having the microphone there, so let me just take that off for a second. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm happy about the neckline. I've taken a video where I was wearing both of them that I did just before I came upstairs, so I'll put that on here. This one is slightly different from the other one, and I think I like the neckline better. The neckline on the other one is wider. Thing is, when I blocked it, I was struggling to block the neckline, so I may just have to give it a press because it does kind of flare out a little bit. I like the width of the neckline because on the other one it's definitely too big. I did more rounds here. I did 1, 2, 3 rounds on the neckline, whereas the other one, I think there's only 2. Yes, there's only 2. All right, let me attach my microphone again. On this one, and I should have weighed this before I started, but I didn't. So I'll pop the weights up on the screen. I've used the same yarn on both of them. It's Yatagan Organic Trio, which is merino, cotton and silk. The merino and cotton is organic, I think. And on this one, I did these kind of chain rows, which are trebles and chains, quite quick and easy. And then these purple rows, each one of these clusters is 7 trebles. Obviously, that makes it slower because there's 7. So on this one, I decided I want to make it a bit lighter and a bit thinner. So I experimented with just doing 5 trebles. So on these clusters here, there's only 5 trebles. And so gone from 7 trebles to 5 trebles. So it should be lighter, but I haven't weighed it. I don't know. It is roughly the same length and the same width in terms of where the sleeves end. This one is wider. The body of this one is wider. I have a picture I took of the 2 lying flat. This one on the bottom and the other one on top. Length is about the same. Sleeve length or total, like edge here to the other edge, is the same. But this one is narrower. It's not as wide. This one, I just measured it again. So this lilac and grey one is 70 centimeters wide when I'd finished blocking it. And this one was 77 centimeters wide when I finished blocking it. I just measured it now and it was 80 centimeters wide. So if you think that's 160 centimeters in total, whereas this one's 140 centimeters in total. So this one has got 20 centimeters more ease. I love wearing this. I wear it several times every single week. It's just warm enough without being too hot. It feels lightweight. I need to measure it, weigh it actually, and see how much it weighs. Feels lightweight, warm but not too warm. The only thing that annoyed me slightly is the fact that the sleeves were a bit short, which I'd done on purpose. On this one, I did two, hang on, let me have a look. 3 rows around the neckline. And this one, the neckline is a little bit too wide. I think originally I did 2 and then I added another round. I have thought about adding another round. The problem is because I've worn this so much, it is starting to look a little bit worn. I mean, it's still perfectly wearable, but you can tell I've been wearing it a lot. And I worry if I use the new yarn to do an extra round around the neckline, it's just going to make it look a bit funny. Like it's going to look like almost like a different dye lot. But I literally wear this several times every single week. And I have done since probably September, end of September. I love it. It's so comfortable to wear. I can wear it over anything. I wear it with like a t-shirt and leggings. I wear it over long sleeve t-shirts. I've worn it over shirts with jeans. I was wearing it earlier this week with I got a pair of wide leg, sort of like flared, stretchy leggings, jeggings. jeggings. They're very, very stretchy, and they've got like a flared shape. Look very 70s, I think. But they're very, very comfortable and very, very lightweight. And I was wearing a long sleeve t-shirt with this over the top, and I thought this just looked really kind of like hippie. I like it. It's relaxed. So I really, really like this one. But it is quite big on me, and I wanted something that was maybe a little bit smaller. Now, when I started this one, I did make a swatch. I probably didn't swatch as much as I should have done, and I thought this one might come in at a little bit narrower. When I was making it, there was at one point where I was thinking, is this going to be too small? So when I finished the top to the underarm on the front and back, I did block it, because I was thinking about also making this bit shorter so that the sleeves weren't as wide. But in the end, I went for the same length or the same number of repeats. But this one did block out a bit narrower. So when I did the sleeves, I crocheted around the sleeve. On this one, I only did 2 repeats. On this one, I did 2, 3, 4, 5 repeats, and I am thinking about maybe adding on to that. Probably won't do it in the next week or so. I might just wear it for a bit and see what I think. It is like, it's, yeah, I could probably do with adding on. I think when I measured this last night, it was about 8 centimeters. I probably could do with adding another 4. Problem is, because they are quite wide, I don't know if I want them right like wrist length, because that might be annoying considering the fact that they're a bit wide. So I'm thinking maybe having them a little bit shorter. In the winter, I wear most of what I wear is long sleeved anyway, and in the summer, I might still be able to wear it over a t-shirt, and then it won't be quite as warm. So I don't know. I haven't got time to do it in the next week or two anyway because of deadlines. So I might just wear it for a bit and see what I think. But I am happy with it. I am glad that it is a little bit smaller than this one, because this one feels quite big. This one has relaxed a little bit since I've been wearing it. So I suspect this one will be as well. Also, the t-shirt, the long sleeved t-shirt I'm wearing today is quite big on me. If I was going to buy it now, I'd probably buy a size smaller. So it is quite roomy on me. But I've been to Pilates today, so I was wearing my stretchy, kind of like flared yoga pants and a long sleeved top, because I wanted it to be nice and comfy for Pilates. So I do really like it. This one could really do with a wash, because I don't know if I've ever washed it. I don't wash knitwear or crochet wear a lot. I always worry about ruining it in the wash. I did look at the washing instructions for this last night to see if I could spin dry it, and it can be machine washed on a wool wash. So I probably will wash this one now that I've got a replacement to wear. So I finished this one last night. I have a couple of deadlines coming up, so the next 3 weeks is going to be full on deadline knitting. And so I was really keen to get this finished because, like I said, it's been on my hook since October. I feel like it's taken forever. And I really wanted to finish it because I was getting a bit bored with it. Last week, I filmed early last week, so I filmed on Tuesday, so it's Wednesday today. But I've also been away. So, for example, I was at Black Sheep Wolves drove up on Thursday, came back on Saturday evening. So Thursday evening and Friday evening, I worked on this a bit in the hotel. The Saturday evening, I didn't work on it at all because I didn't take it into the services with me to work on when I was having a break on the way home. And by the time I got home, it was like 11:30. So I didn't work on this at all, unless I maybe did half an hour in the hotel room before I left for the workshop. I can't remember, but I didn't work on this at all on Saturday. And last week, I was kind of at the underarm. I was probably a couple of repeats. I think I did count it early before I took the marker out, and I think I've done 16 repeats on the back. So 1 repeat is 1 row of grey and 1 row of lilac, which is a lot in a week. So I'm glad it's finished. I wanted to get it done before I started these 2 deadline projects I'm working on, because I'm just fed up with this sitting there, and I feel like it's taken me long enough. So I was keen to get it finished. So I finished the actual body on Sunday evening. So yesterday I started working on the neckline, and then I started working on the sleeves, and I thought, well, I should be able to finish that by tea time, and then I can wash it, put it in the washing machine for like a spin cycle to get rid of as much water as possible, block it, and then it'll be fine to film this afternoon. So I can talk about it on the podcast. And then it just took forever. just took so long. And we had spin class yesterday evening, so we went to spin class, came back, had dinner, sat down to watch telly. We were watching this series on Channel 4 called Patience, and we were watching it on catch up. We watched series 1, and by the time we finished series 1, they were airing series 2, so we're now watching series 2. If you haven't watched it and you're in the UK and you can access Channel 4, it is absolutely brilliant. Love it. Anyway, we were watching one last night, and it finished about 9:15 or something, and I still hadn't finished this thing. And I said to Simon, I really want to finish this thing, so should we watch another episode so I can try and finish this sweater? And then I blocked it. I didn't weave in all the ends because it was getting so late, and I decided, because I wanted it dry by this afternoon so I could film this, because I've got workshop on Friday, so tomorrow I want to do my newsletter and things. So I thought, to make sure I can get this podcast up in time for Friday, I need to film it Wednesday afternoon. So I blocked it last night for on to bed about 10 o'clock, 10:15. And because it was late and I didn't want to have to go through the hassle of washing it and stuff, I didn't wash it. Considering the number of months I've been working on this, and the fact that it's been on my lap and the dog's been on my lap, including last night, it probably could have done with a wash, but I decided not to. I can't see any dirt on it, and it doesn't smell of dog. It smells okay, so I decided not to wash it. So what I did was I put the front down on the table, so I put it this side down the table, sprayed the back of it with water, then I turned it over, pinned it out, and then I sprayed this with water. Now, I tried it on yesterday afternoon after I finished the neckline, I think it was, to see if I was happy with the neckline, and it fitted me like, I thought this is too small. It fitted me like a glove, really, but it was fitted. There was no ease at all. And I was like, oh no, I've spent all these months on this and it's going to be too small. But I did remember that this one grew a lot and I blocked it, and luckily this one did as well. So even though it's not as roomy as this is, and when I first put it on, I was like, ooh, do I like that? But I think I do, because this is quite roomy, and I do like the fact that this is not. So I did the same number of repeats widthwise and the same number of repeat lengthwise. And I will weigh it when I go back downstairs and see how much it weighs. And I'll pop that up on the screen, because I'm assuming this will be lighter. Now, originally, I had planned to start with the lilac as the main colour up here, and then below the bust switch, so the lilac would be where the grey is here. Then when I got to that point, I thought I really like this lilac, and I wasn't sure where to switch, because I thought if I switch, so where the arm joins in, it's like right, probably at the widest part of my bust. And I thought if I switch there, it might look a bit weird. But if I go below, how far below do I go? So I thought I'm just going to stick with this because I really like this colour. This colour goes really well with most of my clothes, so I'm really happy with it. So yes, this might become a new favourite. I don't know. I like it. Let me know what you think. I was thinking yesterday about writing up the pattern for it, and that's been my plan, probably for this version rather than the other version, because this uses less yarn. And I don't think it takes away a lot from the look of it, even though these clusters only have 5 trebles instead of 7. So trebles is US doubles. But I don't know, just feel really intimidated by writing up a crochet pattern at the moment. I've done crochet patterns before. I've been published in Inside Crochet. What's the other one called? Inside Crochet. There's another crochet one which I can't think what it's called now in the UK. Interweave Crochet in the US. Had 2 or 3 or 4 patterns in Interweave Crochet. So I've done crochet patterns before, but it's so long ago. Plus the fact that I'm not going to have time for the next few weeks because of deadlines, and then Unravel, and then I'm going to Norway, then I'm going back to Black Sheep Wools, and then it's Stitch Festival. So I don't know when I'm going to have time to do it. Anyway, I love it. Let me just show you what's in the knitter first, then I'll show you what I've cast on new. Also, very quickly, I just mentioned I'm going back to Black Sheep Wools in March. I'm teaching, I think it's the 13th and 14th, or 14th and 15th, sometime in the middle of March. I'm teaching brioche improvers. So if you can do basic 2-color brioche rib, you can manage that class. If you don't feel super confident with brioche, but you've done it, then you can also manage that class. I'm very good at adjusting things to fit everyone in the class. And then on the second day, I'm doing beaded lace knitting. So we're actually going to make my Flora headband. Not very good at putting this on. It probably looks weird on me, but I don't know. I do really like headbands, but I never feel like I'm very good at putting them on. Okay, that looks a bit weird. Don't know why. Oh, I think I worked out there's a bit that the seam's come undone slightly. But that's basically the headband. You don't have to make the headband if you don't want to. We are going to start it in the class, but if you decide you don't really like making the headband, then you don't have to do it. But it's basically beaded lace knitting. So you learn all the stitches you need to do lace knitting and how to add beads. So that's the other day. When I looked at the Black Sheep Wool's website on Monday, there were only 3 spaces left on each of the 2 workshops. So if you want them, book it quickly. And then the following week, I'm teaching a stitch festival in London, in Islington, I think it is. It's near it's called Business Design Centre, I think it is. It's near the Angel Tube Station. And I'm teaching a variety of workshops there. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head now, but they are in the description below. Just go there and you'll find a link there. There's also, I think it's a code for £2 off or something for a daily entry ticket. So do go and check that out as well. Okay, let's talk about my pattern in the knit this month. I actually have 2 patterns in this month. So let me see if I can find them again. I didn't have time for either of them to actually knit a video before I sent them off. Oh, and I've just spotted, I haven't seen this yet. There is a thing at the back about podcasts. And, well, a lot of them are YouTube podcasts. I haven't read that yet. But next to it, there is a thing, suggestions of what to watch. And there is Anniken Carlos, fellow Norwegians. Well, one of them is Swedish, but Norwegians. They live in Norway. Crochet Knits. Crochet Knitting podcast from Edinburgh. Sorry if I'm pronouncing her name incorrectly. Then there's one called Back to Blighty. Fruity Knitting, which is extremely popular. Stolen Stitches, which is an Irish designer. And then there is me. There we go. I'm listed there as well, so I really appreciate it. Thank you very much to the knitter team for mentioning me there as well. I really appreciate it. So, yeah, you're in a good place. So let's see. I've got 2 patterns in this issue, both accessories. I forgot to do a video for both of them when they came out. So there won't be a separate video on this. One is a tote bag. So this is knitted in, it's knitted in one piece from the bottom up. And it is knitted in Stylecraft's bamboo and cotton. The Stylecraft Naturals bamboo and cotton, which is 60% bamboo, 40% cotton, which I have used quite a lot of time now, and I really, really like it. It's knitted in the round, stocking stitch on the lower body, and then a 2-color stripe on the top in the lace pattern. It's a bit difficult to see from the picture, but it is a mosaic stitch because the colors don't contrast massively. Let me try not to show you the picture. It is difficult to see. If you use 2 colors that contrast more, it will be more obvious that it is a stitch pattern. I have got it here, but I don't think it really, the colors are really a little bit too close together, probably. So it's very subtle. Mosaic color work is really interesting to knit. It's quite easy. It's done in garter stitch, and it's not too difficult if you're new to color work. So it's a good way of getting introduced to color work. So that's in the Knitter issue 224, which is in the shops in the UK now. I also have a pattern in Knitting Magazine, which I talked about last week. So I'm just going to quickly show you what it looks like. I'm not going to talk about it now because I did talk a bit about it last week. Again, I didn't do a separate video on this because I didn't have time. I don't know what was going on last year when I was doing these patterns, but I was clearly quite busy. So let me just see if I can find it. Yeah. So this is my pattern in this month's Knitting Magazine. Bit difficult to see from the photograph, but there is a lace pattern on the top. It's knitted in in a really nice yarn called Rico Luxury Merino Alpaca. Slightly fussy. I think I have some here actually. Yes, this is slightly fuzzy. So it gives you that kind of mohair look, but it hasn't got mohair in it. It is 70% wool, 30% alpaca, but it's like brushed alpaca. So it's got a bit of fuzzy look without having to hold two strands together or any that kind of thing. I did it with 3/4 length sleeves. You can easily lengthen the sleeves. You probably just need an extra ball of yarn. The sleeves are knitted top down, so it's easier to lengthen them. But yeah, another fabulous issue from Knitting Magazine, issue 266. These two magazines are both in the shops in the UK now, so do go and check them out. But let's talk about what I've been knitting. So I have started on a new deadline project. Well, I knitted the swatch. The swatch is here. I can't show you the swatch, but I can show you the back of it. It's going to be colour work. I'm going to write the pattern for that tomorrow. Last week, before I went off to Black Sheep Balls, I had a delivery from Lang of their, and it's still downstairs. I haven't actually unpacked the box. I ordered 2 colours of their cashmere extra lace, I think it is. It's their ultra fine lace. And it is like 300 and something meters per 25 grams. It's very, very thin. I think it's like equivalent of 1200 meters per 100 grams. So very, very fine. And originally, I packed that. And when I stopped on the way up to Black Sheep Balls, one of the services, I cast on. I brought 3.25 and 3.5 millimeter needles with me. So I cast them with 3.25 and I thought, no, that's way too thin for that needle. I need smaller needles. So I ripped it out and I held it double and went up to 3.5 millimeter needles. And that was better, but I just wasn't really feeling it. When I came home, I pulled out one of the other yarns I'd ordered, this sparkly sequin yarn, which is Lang Paylets. Not sure if that's how you pronounce it, which is gorgeous. And I cast on with that, and still with the cashmere, I still wasn't feeling it. And then when I came home, I looked and I remembered I'd ordered some mohair. So this is Lang Mohair 21, which is ultra fine. I haven't got a label here. It's 21 micron mohair and silk. It's like ultra fine, really, really luxurious. Because I've used the Lang mohair before years ago and I didn't particularly like it. These two have the same numbers. I'm assuming they are the same shade. Obviously, they look different in different fibers. And I cast them for that. And I love it. It's just so gorgeous. Look at the sparkly, slightly fuzzy, sparkly. I love what it does to the colour because obviously the sequin yarn is a bit darker. Goes to my nails, goes to my top. So the plan is to do a small triangular scarf shawl thing. I think I'm going to add some lace, but I haven't decided yet. I have a lace pattern in mind, fairly simple one. I just want it to be something simple that will use one ball of the mohair and one ball of the sequins. Or if you don't like sequins, you could use 2 balls of the mohair or 1 mohair and 1 cashmere. Now, my plan is to try and get this ready for Unravel, which means I got to knit it and get it tech edited before Unravel. Now, Unravel is in, let's see, 1, 2, 3 weeks. 3 weeks from today, we'll be on our way to Unravel. Plus, I have 2 deadlines to finish in that time as well. So, I don't know if I'm mad trying to get this done. I'm going to email my tech editor tomorrow and say, if I'm going to get this ready for Unravel, what's the latest you need the pattern by to have time to tech edit it? And then see if I can get it done. What I was thinking about doing over the next couple of weeks, because of all the knitting I've got to do, is to work in the morning, do any computer work I have to do in the morning, and then after lunch, basically spend all afternoon knitting on my deadline projects, and then spend the evening knitting on this project. It's this project, which is living in my new redesigned project bag. So that's my plan. See if I can do that for a few days and work out how much I can get knitted on each one. My 2 deadline project, one is a smallish accessory, but it's color work, so it's going to take me a bit longer. The other one is a quite intricate lace shawl using 100 grams of yarn. I'm going to cast on for that after I finish this. So now, plan today is to, this afternoon, work on the lace shawl, make a decent start on that. And this evening, I'll work on the mohair sequin shawl. and then tomorrow I'm going to write the pattern for the other deadline project, and then work out how much I need to do on both of the deadline ones to get them finished in time. One of them, the one that I haven't cast on yet, the deadline for that was supposed to be a couple of months ago, but the yarn arrived while I was in Norway, and the first week I was back from Norway, I just didn't get my act together to swatch and get ready, which I should have done really, but because I could have made quite a big progress on that, although I probably wouldn't have finished this. So I'm glad I finished this, but yes, I probably have sacrificed deadline knitting a little bit in the last couple of weeks to finish this. I do have some other projects on needles as well that I'm just going to leave for now. I have a Sabbable sweater knitting that one. I've started the first sleeve, so I only got the 2 sleeves to go. In an ideal world, I'd love to finish up before I go to Norway after Unravel, but that's just not going to happen because deadline knitting and everything else. I also have a pair of socks on the needles. I'm just going to leave those. They might become my travel project when we go to Unravel. I don't know. There's something easy enough that I can knit on during the show. And then I also ordered some dark purple cashmere and some purple, like dark purple sequin yarn, and I want to do a cardigan holding those two together. So I'm not going to cast it on. I was thinking I might cast on before we go to Unravel, so I can knit on that in the car and during Unravel. But if not, I'll definitely cast it on when I go to Norway and probably make that my Norway project this time. We'll see if I can manage to cast it on. If I can manage to finish the mohair sequin shawl fairly quickly, then I might be able to cast on the cashmere sequin cardigan. Right, that's it for this week. I don't know whether there's going to be a podcast next week because it depends on how much knitting I can get done apart from this deadline knitting. My Tuesday video this week was on not happy with your knits ? So basically what happens when we knit something and we're not happy with it. It was inspired by somebody who posted on, I don't know, Reddit, social media somewhere. She listed she shared pictures of loads of stuff she'd knitted in the last year and what she didn't like about all of them. So I thought it's quite interesting to think about what it is about the stuff we make that we don't like. And I was talking to somebody, was it somebody at my workshop last week? I can't remember, but I was talking to somebody and she said something similar, that she knitted loads of stuff for herself, but she doesn't really like any of it. And I don't know what that's about. Is it because the wrong yarn, the wrong shape, the wrong size, the wrong yarn thickness, the wrong style, the wrong color? Is it because we have slightly unrealistic expectations of what we think a design is going to look like on us? When you go in the shops and you buy something, you can go in the change room and try it on, and then you either think, yeah, I like that, it looks good, or you bet, I'm not sure, but I need it, so I'll buy it anyway, or you think, oh, no, that looks awful on me and I'm not buying it. Obviously that's not an option when it comes to your knitting, because you've got to knit it or crochet it and then wear it, and sometimes we are disappointed. So I just chatted about that in Tuesday's video because I think it's an interesting topic, and I think a lot of the time we are not realistic enough about what we are knitting, either the size, the shape, the materials, the thickness of yarn. Like, I've learned now what kind of shapes I like, what I feel comfortable in. That video is out on Tuesday this week, so do go and check that out. I'll be back next Tuesday with another video. Can't remember what it is. It's already been filmed and scheduled, so do come back for that. Make sure you sign up to my newsletter if you haven't already. The link is below this video. Follow me on social media. I have now left Twitter, X. I've archived my account and deleted the app from my phone. This latest thing with Grok, and the fact that you can, if somebody posts a picture of themselves, you can ask Grok to undress or put a bikini on them or whatever. That was just, no, I've had enough now. So off Twitter, but I am on Threads, Blue Sky, Instagram. I have a Facebook group, so do go and check that out. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.